Must watch. If a woman tells you these 5 things, leave her immediately. Old Stoic wisdom. True love is not about finding the perfect person, but seeing an imperfect person perfectly. Sam Keen. Welcome to Stoicism Win, where today we're diving into a crucial topic that many men overlook or ignore. Let's get straight to the heart of it. Certain things a woman might say should immediately raise red flags for you. Not every woman deserves your time, energy, or respect. The issue arises when many men dismiss these warning signs, thinking they can change her, rationalize her behavior, or, even worse, prove their value to her. But the ancient Stoics understood the importance of guarding your emotional well-being and wisdom in relationships. A man must know when to walk away for the sake of his peace and growth. Let me share something crucial with you. When a woman says certain things, it's not just casual conversation. Those words reveal her true mindset, her expectations, and, more importantly, how she perceives you, as someone worthy of respect or as just a tool for her convenience. You see, men and women communicate differently. Men tend to be straightforward, while women often express their intentions in more subtle ways, whether through their words, attitudes, or actions. If you're not paying close attention, you could find yourself trapped in a toxic relationship that drains your energy, manipulates your emotions, and ultimately leaves you broken. This is why today's topic is so vital. There are specific phrases that, when spoken by a woman, should instantly trigger your decision to walk away, no questions asked. These aren't just harmless words, they're red flags. They reveal a mindset that could lead you down a road of frustration, weakness, and deep regret. As the philosopher Seneca once said, "A person who does not know what life is, does not know what it is to live." This is not about hatred or resentment toward women. It's about knowing when to protect yourself as a man. It's about maintaining your self-respect and dignity. Too many men have wasted years of their lives trying to please a woman who never had any respect for them in the first place. They've sacrificed their dreams, lost their confidence, and even questioned their self-worth, all because they ignored the early warning signs. It's time to change that narrative. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius wisely put it, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. Recognizing these signs early on can save you from future pain and regret. Never allow anyone, no matter who they are, to diminish your value or manipulate your emotions. Protect your peace, protect your worth, and always be aware of the signals others send. This knowledge is empowering. So, the next time you hear certain words, listen closely, trust your instincts, and walk away with your head held high. I encourage you to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments. Let's build a community of men who uplift and support each other. In this video, I'm going to reveal 5 things a woman might say that should immediately send you packing. These are not just simple words. They are serious red flags that, if ignored, could lead to unnecessary heartache. Some of these phrases might even surprise you or challenge what you've been taught about relationships. But trust me, every single one of them signals trouble ahead. If you've had enough of investing your time in women who don't value you, or if you're ready to start spotting these red flags early on, then keep watching. What I'm about to share with you could save you from wasting months, or even years, of frustration. As men, we often find ourselves in situations where our emotions cloud our judgment, but understanding these signs will give you the clarity you need to avoid unnecessary pain. Let's dive in and break it down. 1. I don't need a man. When a woman says, "I don't need a man," you need to listen closely, for this is not just a passing statement, it's a reflection of her mindset. And that mindset is one that will make any relationship with her feel like an unending battle. You see, this is the kind of woman who doesn't see a man as a partner, but as an optional accessory. And for a man who values respect, appreciation, and true partnership, that is dangerous ground. There is nothing inherently wrong with a woman being independent. A high-value man actually desires a woman who can stand on her own, someone who brings her own strengths to the table. But there is a vast difference between a woman who is independent and a woman who consistently pushes the notion that men are worthless. A woman who respects and values men won't feel the need to shout about how she doesn't need one, because she doesn't. Women who express this often have something to prove, whether it's to themselves, society, or to you. Perhaps she's been hurt in the past, building this belief as a defense mechanism. Perhaps she's been swept up in a culture that encourages women to dismiss men altogether. No matter the reason, here's what you need to understand. A woman who genuinely believes she doesn't need a man will never truly respect one. Without respect, the relationship is doomed before it even has a chance to begin. In real-life terms, let's consider the situation. A man starts dating a woman who proudly declares, "I don't need a man to be happy." At first, he brushes it off. After all, everyone is entitled to their independence, right? But as time passes, the cracks begin to show. She never values his input, constantly challenges his decisions, not because she disagrees, but simply to prove that she doesn't rely on him. She refuses to allow him to take the lead, disregards his contributions, and every time he attempts to step up, she reminds him that she doesn't need him. He soon realizes that he's not in a relationship, he's in a competition. He's attempting to prove his value to a woman who has already convinced herself that men offer no real value. And make no mistake, that is a losing game. Here's the truth. A woman who sees men as unnecessary will never embrace the full power of what a good man brings into her life. She'll always have one foot out the door, thinking she can do it all on her own. But as a man of substance, you should never waste time trying to prove your worth to someone who refuses to see it. Walk away, because a woman who truly values men will show it, not just with words, but through consistent actions. It's in her respect, her willingness to listen, her acknowledgement of your role, and her gratitude for the partnership you bring. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. The same goes for relationships. Don't waste time with someone who won't respect you. A woman who values a man will let her actions speak louder than her words. You deserve to be with someone who sees your worth without hesitation, and who adds to your life rather than detracts from it. In this world, remember this: you are not a means to an end for anyone. Never settle for being anyone's backup. 2. My ex was toxic. When a woman tells you, "My ex was toxic," your first reaction might be to feel sympathy for her and perhaps offer to be the better man, treating her better than the past. But before you dive into that mindset, take a moment to analyze the situation more carefully. This statement may not be as innocent as it seems. Yes, it's true that some men are toxic and bad relationships do exist. There are genuine victims in the world. However, if a woman constantly blames her ex for everything that went wrong without ever acknowledging her own part in the situation, consider this a major red flag. A woman who refuses to take responsibility for her past relationships is likely to repeat the same toxic patterns in her future ones. Think about it. If every ex she's had is described as a narcissist, manipulator, or abuser, then what does that say about her? Either she has an ongoing pattern of choosing poor partners, which speaks to her lack of judgment, or she's rewriting history to absolve herself of any blame. And when she refuses to admit fault for her past relationships, ask yourself this: what will happen when things go wrong between the two of you? She'll likely cast you as the next toxic villain in her story, playing the victim while you bear the brunt of the blame. Let's put this into a real-life scenario. A man begins dating a woman who frequently talks about how horrible her ex was. At first, he feels compassion and reassurance, thinking that he's different, that he'll treat her better. But as the relationship progresses, something strange happens. When they argue, she refuses to accept responsibility for her actions. If he brings up a valid concern, she twists it to make herself look like the innocent one. And what's even more disturbing is that she uses her ex as a tool to justify her behaviour. For example, if he sets a boundary, she retorts, "My ex was controlling like that too." Or if he calls her out on being disrespectful, she fires back with, "You sound just like him." Soon he finds himself constantly walking on eggshells, afraid of being labelled the next toxic man. This scenario is the result of a woman who refuses to take ownership of her mistakes. She drags her unresolved issues into every new relationship, continuously portraying herself as the victim. And if she always plays the victim, you will inevitably be cast as the villain. A woman of high value, however, will be the one who acknowledges her own role in a failed relationship. She will openly admit that things didn't work out with her ex, reflecting on what she has learned from it. This is the type of woman who grows, takes responsibility, and actively avoids repeating the same mistakes. But if she only blames her ex and refuses to see her own faults, then she's simply waiting for the next man to fall into the trap of becoming her scapegoat. In cases like this, the wisest decision is to walk away before you become her next victim, her next story of blame and manipulation. Remember the words of the Stoic philosopher Seneca: "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Don't let yourself be caught in a relationship built on distorted views and unhealed wounds. So, what should you do if you encounter this situation? Trust your instincts and proceed with caution. Acknowledge the red flags and protect your emotional well-being. Remember, a relationship should be based on mutual respect, growth and accountability, not manipulation and blame. Don't let yourself be the next villain in her life story. Walk away before it's too late. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you experienced anything similar? Leave your comments below and share your story. 3. I want a man who can handle me. When a woman says, "I need a man who can handle me," it may initially seem like playful banter, a challenge thrown your way, as though she's testing whether you're strong enough to be with her. But let's dive deeper. It's not a compliment. In fact, it's a warning. She's not asking for a confident, capable man. She's signalling that she expects you to tolerate her difficult, often chaotic behavior without holding her accountable for it. This statement reveals more about her mindset than it does about you as a man. Instead of seeking growth and balance in a relationship, she's setting the stage for a dynamic where you are expected to adjust to her whims. Think about it. Why should any man have to handle a woman? Relationships are meant to be a partnership, not a challenge to see how much chaos one person can endure. A man of true value doesn't look to simply manage a woman's moods. He leads, nurtures, and creates peace in his life, and, ideally, in his relationship. If peace isn't coming from her side, then it's already clear that the relationship isn't built on the right foundation. The real issue here is that this mindset turns love into a power struggle. It's no longer about mutual respect, understanding, and cooperation. It becomes about how much nonsense you're willing to put up with. The deeper danger lies in the fact that the more you tolerate, the more she may test you, pushing boundaries to see how far you'll go. And with every boundary you fail to set, the less respect she'll have for you. It becomes a game, and the more you play it, the more you risk losing your own self-respect. If you stay, you're not seen as strong. You're seen as weak for not asserting yourself and drawing the line when necessary. Now, let's consider how this dynamic would be viewed if the roles were reversed. Imagine if a man told a woman, "I need a woman who can handle me." What would that signal? It would be a huge red flag. A man who is difficult, full of unresolved issues and unwilling to change. No woman would find that attractive or desirable. Yet, when women say they need someone to handle them, they're often subconsciously expecting the same, an invitation to deal with behavior that should never be tolerated. A woman who respects herself and her partner doesn't view relationships as battlegrounds. She doesn't create chaos just to see how long you'll stick around. She understands the importance of peace, cooperation, and shared effort. She respects you not as someone who must be tested, but as an equal partner. A woman worth your time won't require you to handle her. She'll value and respect you for who you are, and she'll seek to build something meaningful with you. In conclusion, if a woman ever tells you she wants a man who can handle her, she's giving you an early warning. She's asking you to endure emotional labor, something no high-value man should ever accept. Relationships should be built on respect, mutual growth, and shared trust. Don't waste your time trying to prove yourself to someone who sees you as a challenge to be overcome rather than a partner to be cherished. A real partnership comes from mutual effort, and a woman who truly values you won't make you feel like you're constantly proving yourself. Walk away from unnecessary drama and make space for someone who appreciates you for who you truly are. Fourth, you're insecure for thinking that. When a woman tells you you're insecure for thinking that, it's not just a random comment, it's a tactic used to manipulate and silence you. This phrase is one of the more common ways some women deflect responsibility when they don't want to face accountability for their actions. Think about it. You express a legitimate concern or set a boundary, and instead of addressing the issue at hand, she dismisses your feelings by attacking your confidence. This isn't a sign of strength on her part. It's a red flag. It's a clever manipulation designed to make you second-guess yourself and undermine your self-assurance. The goal is simple. Shift the focus from her behavior to your supposed insecurity, so she doesn't have to deal with the real issue. High-value men understand that having standards is not insecurity. Wanting respect, feeling uncomfortable with certain behaviors, or standing firm on what you deserve isn't a sign of weakness. It's a sign of self-respect. A man who values himself knows that boundaries are necessary for healthy relationships, and he's not afraid to assert them. But when a woman resorts to words like, "you're insecure," she's trying to make you believe that standing up for yourself is somehow wrong. The moment she does this, she shifts the conversation away from the problem to your supposed deficiency. Instead of talking about the issue, you're left defending your confidence and explaining why you're not insecure. This is a classic emotional manipulation tactic that many men unknowingly fall victim to. The problem is, when a man starts doubting his own instincts, questioning whether he's overreacting or being too sensitive, he begins to silence himself. Over time, he starts walking on eggshells, trying not to trigger the insecure label. He may stop expressing his feelings, avoid confronting issues, and abandon his boundaries, all because he doesn't want to be called insecure. And in doing so, he becomes more distant from his own truth. But a woman who respects you will never resort to this tactic. A woman who truly values you won't dismiss your concerns or shut you down when you try to communicate. Instead, she'll engage with you openly, listen with empathy, and work with you to resolve issues like an adult. So when you hear the phrase, "you're insecure," it's important to recognize it for what it really is, a diversion. It's an attempt to avoid the real conversation and manipulate you into believing your feelings are invalid. This is emotional warfare, plain and simple. It's not about being overly sensitive, it's about knowing when you're being played. A high-value man recognizes this pattern immediately. He doesn't let emotional tricks erode his self-confidence or make him doubt his rightful standards. He stands firm in his beliefs, communicates clearly, and refuses to let someone gaslight him into silence. In modern relationships, this kind of manipulation can be subtle but devastating. It's easy for someone to dismiss your concerns as insecurity, especially when they don't want to be held accountable. But if you find yourself constantly being invalidated in this way, it's time to take a step back and assess the relationship. A woman who truly respects you will never make you feel like you're the problem when you express valid concerns. So if you repeatedly encounter this behavior, recognize that it's not a sign of a healthy relationship. It's a sign that this person may not be the right partner for you. In the long run, you deserve a relationship built on mutual respect, understanding, and open communication, not one where your feelings are constantly dismissed. A woman who truly respects you won't shy away from honest conversations. If she keeps calling you insecure to avoid facing the truth, it's time to walk away. 5-point other men want me. When a woman says, "other men want me," it's not just a passing remark, it's a test, one designed to gauge your reaction. She wants to see how you respond. Will you let jealousy cloud your judgment, or will you maintain your composure and show her that your worth isn't determined by external validation? The truth is, a woman who values and respects you won't feel the need to remind you that other men are interested in her. She knows her worth, and she doesn't use it as a weapon to manipulate or control you. If she says this, it's likely for one of two reasons. Either she's seeking validation, or she's testing your emotional control. In the first case, a woman might use the statement to seek constant affirmation and validation. She craves attention from others, not just you, and thrives on being desired by as many people as possible. She might want to feel like she's the center of attention, always needing reassurance that she's wanted. This kind of woman is never satisfied with just one person's admiration, because what she really seeks is external validation. And as long as she's dependent on this validation, she's unable to form deep, meaningful connections. If this sounds like the situation you're in, it's important to recognize that her desire for external approval will never lead to true emotional fulfillment. On the other hand, some women use this statement as a test to see if they can make you feel insecure or jealous. They want to observe how you react, whether you'll get flustered, compete for her attention, or attempt to prove your worth to her. If you start acting in a way that shows insecurity or a desperate need for her validation, you've fallen into her trap. She now knows she can manipulate your emotions and gain control over how you feel. This is a classic form of emotional manipulation, and it's a sign that she's testing your boundaries. As the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Maintaining emotional control and showing that you don't chase after validation is key in these moments. Ultimately, the goal is to stay grounded and self-assured. If a woman tests you in this way, remember that your emotional well-being should never hinge on someone else's opinion of you. When you stand firm in your self-worth, you set a clear boundary and show that you will not be manipulated by anyone seeking to control your emotions. If you find yourself in a situation like this, it's important to ask yourself, is this relationship contributing to my growth and happiness? Or is it simply feeding someone else's need for attention? Don't let someone's desire for external validation lead you to question your own value. Instead, stand firm in your principles, stay true to your purpose, and never let anyone diminish your self-worth. A high-value man knows his worth and will never fall into the traps of emotional manipulation. If a woman respects you, she won't attempt to make you feel disposable. She won't use the attention of other men as a bargaining chip to make you work harder for her approval. But if she does, you should see it as a glaring red flag, one that demands your immediate attention. Imagine this. You're out with a woman, everything seems to be going perfectly, the conversation is effortless, the chemistry is undeniable, and then, just when you think the night couldn't get better, she casually drops a bombshell. "You know, I get hit on all the time. Guys are always trying to take me out." A low-value man might be shaken by this. He might start probing, "Who's hitting on you?" Or even worse, "Well, I'm sure I'm better than them." He's now in competition for her validation, and that's exactly what she wants. She knows she has him right where she wants him, desperate for her approval, ready to fight for her attention. But not a high-value man. A high-value man remains calm, composed, and unwavering. He doesn't react in a way that shows insecurity or need. He might flash a knowing smirk and say, "That's nice." Or with a quiet, assertive confidence, he'll remark, "Good for them. Let's see if they can keep up." He makes it crystal clear he's not affected by her games, and he's certainly not competing for her affection. The truth is, when a woman pulls this stunt, she's telling you that she values external attention more than she values loyalty or respect. She's demonstrating that she is more interested in feeling admired by others than in fostering a meaningful connection with you. And any man who allows this behavior to continue is only setting himself up for heartbreak and wasted time. A woman who truly respects you will make you feel like a priority, not an option. If she's trying to make you feel replaceable, it's time to walk away. Let the other men have her. You, my friend, are worth far more than that. As the Stoics taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. A high-value man doesn't compete for attention. He chooses where to invest his time and energy. He recognizes his worth and isn't afraid to let go of situations and people that don't align with his standards. Don't waste your time playing games or chasing someone who doesn't prioritize you. Remember, the man who has everything is the man who has nothing left to prove. Live by that principle and choose the relationships that empower and elevate you. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever encountered a situation like this? Share your experiences in the comments below. In conclusion, understanding the warning signs in relationships is crucial for maintaining your self-respect and peace of mind as a man. The phrases a woman says are not just words. They reveal her mindset, her expectations, and whether she values you as a partner or views you as a tool to be used. You have the power to protect yourself by recognizing these red flags early on and walking away from relationships that drain your energy and self-worth. Remember, a relationship should be a partnership built on mutual respect, trust, and understanding. If a woman's behavior reflects a lack of respect, accountability, or appreciation, it's not worth your time to try and change her. You deserve to be with someone who recognizes your value from the beginning, not someone who needs to be handled, manipulated, or constantly reassured of your worth. As a man of substance, you must stand firm in your boundaries and not let anyone undermine your value. Don't fall into the trap of trying to prove yourself to someone who doesn't recognize your greatness. A high-value man knows when to walk away and protects his emotional and mental health. You are the prize in any relationship, and a woman who truly values you will show that through her actions, not just her words. So, as you move forward, remember this. There is no shortage of women who will appreciate you for who you truly are. Don't settle for less. Stay true to yourself and never let anyone make you feel less than what you are. Always choose a woman who respects you and aligns with your values.